As we walk through this graveyard, I feel the need to tell you some of Phoenix's stories. Phoenix once boasted 1,000+ residents. It had over 20 hotels, schools, churches, opera house, hospital, brothels, saloons, city hall, and even its own brewery. Unfortunately, as is the case with most of these old forgotten towns, all that's left are these gravestones with names and forgotten memories. In the height of Phoenix's popularity, the locals referred to Phoenix as Canada's highest city. That's because it sat at 4,633 feet above sea level. Copper was discovered at Phoenix in 1891. This is credited to American prospector named Bob Denzler. Denzler's discovery became the first of many claims, and a settlement was built called Greenwood Camp. But it was not until 1895 that the full riches of this area was realized, and then the boom really began. What frontier town isn't complete without its own form of law and order? This form came in the presence of Judge Willie Williams. He served Phoenix from 1897 until 1913. Williams was known to be a tall person. So that being said, his declaration was he's the highest judge in the highest courtroom in the highest city in Canada. This is Adolphe Surcouf, aka Forepaugh. He was an import from Belgium, came to the United States in the 1890s, and then moved up to Boundary Country and Phoenix shortly before the turn of the century. Once Phoenix closed in 1919, all the townfolk left. Forepaugh stayed behind. He wanted to maintain the legacy of the newly abandoned town. Thus, he elected himself as mayor, chief of police, and even the magistrate. Forepaugh was determined to earn his keep in the now ghost town of Phoenix. Self-proclaimed sheriff of the city, patrolled the streets with a billy club, a homemade sheriff's star that he made himself out of a tin can. He also made it known to the passerbyers and ghost town snoops that he was the law of this abandoned town. The men of Phoenix not only played hard, they worked hard. The Granby Consolidated Mining, Smelting, and Power Company operated the Phoenix mine. The mine was dangerous, dirty, and not an easy job. This copper mine produced a whopping 13,678,901 tons of ore before operation ceased on June 14, 1919. Now, to put that in perspective for you, that's more silver, gold, and copper than the entire Yukon Gold Rush. It's well documented that the men of Phoenix seem to really enjoy curling and hockey. There was even a big rivalry between Phoenix and Grand Forks. It was so fierce that all supporters had several trains bring them to and from the games. At times, even back in those days, bets on the games would run as high as $1,000. Phoenix's hockey team was extremely competitive. The team even won their own provincial championship, and they asked for the right to compete for the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, they were too late to qualify. In July 1900, the Canadian Pacific Railway was built into Phoenix, and the first train of ore was sent down to the 25-mile hill to the Grand Forks smelter. The first 10 miles of 3% grade, the CPR used an engine known as the Shay. It could travel only 15 miles per hour, but would haul double the amount of an ordinary engine. It was right after World War I in 1919 when the Granby Company decided that because of the low ore services and the difficulty of getting men and materials to carry on with the mine, that they would close it down. It happened so fast. Overnight, people were leaving. They were leaving all of their belongings, furnitures. The railways were tearing up the tracks because winter was coming. The city council wound up its affairs. They sold the skating rink where they once played provincial hockey. They used that money to build a cenotaph in memory of the boys from Phoenix who had lost their lives in World War I.